Do you need a new career? Now you can train online for an exciting new career in as little as 8 months with Penn Foster, America's largest accredited school of independent study. Simply log on to your personal homepage and the whole school is at your fingertips. Open lessons, submit assignments, interact with teachers, visit the online library, then stop by eCampus, a place to interact with your fellow students. Foster offers 0% financing and customized payment plans, plus career services when you graduate. So don't just think about a new career, make it happen. Pretty interesting, huh? Can you imagine what it would be like if all 4 of those people had to work in the same office building? It'd be pretty crazy, right? Tell you a secret. They already do. Everywhere. For the first time in the history of mankind, many businesses all over the world have as many as 4 generations working side by side under the same roof. 4 generations! It wasn't such a long time ago that we hardly had 4 generations alive at the same time, never mind working together. It's an amazing thing. So what does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. Let's say X is working alongside a baby boomer. It ought to have the same upside as all the other kinds of diversity, right? The benefit of different points of view and different life experiences. But it has one very steep downside too. That age-old issue that people still call generation gap. Gaps in values, communication styles, and so on. But you know, I should say potential downside because it doesn't have to be. If all the generations can take the time to learn about the different things they all see, and the different things then we bridge the gap. You can scratch off the downside and all you've got left is the upside, right? But look, it'll be clearer if I just show you an example. And you'll have to trust me. As you'll see, I get around. Inside that room, a baby boomer and a Gen Xer are talking about who's going to receive the Holden account. Now, the Holden account is huge. It's the type of thing that can make your year all by itself. And we're about to see one of those generation gaps in action.
All right.
This isn't a gender issue, it's a generational issue. It's all about making the right patient connection. Check it out. Generation X values results and the bottom line. The baby boomers value loyalty and the classic image of responsibility. Now listen, this doesn't mean that boomers don't value results. It means that Gen Xers don't have a soft spot in their hearts for loyalty. But the priorities tend to be different. Tend to. You can't make any more guarantees about a generation than you can about all men, or all women, or all Californians. But about a few basic generational trends. We know the traditionalists value loyalty and a uniform-looking workforce. They think of authority in a top-down hierarchical way. They have a reflexive automatic respect for authority, and they admire dedication to a steady pace. Baby boomers are somewhat similar, but they begin to value individuality a bit more. They don't have the same knee-jerk respect for authority, and they're actually a little more driven to win. Gen Xers value competence above. They don't mind going it alone, and don't much care about authority one way or the other. And when they make a decision, they're ready to move on. Generation Y prefers for everyone to work together. They're flexible and creative, and they don't have a whole lot. Now again, these are trends. They're not programmed in anyone's DNA. Even these labels can't quite make up their minds. The traditionalists have also been called the silent generation and the GI generation. Xers were called the baby bust when someone came up with Generation X. And Generation Y has been called millennial and echo boomers, and who knows what else. But if we use some of those trends as guidelines, we might be able to hear these differences when they pop, and maybe they won't take us by surprise. You remember Glenda, our plain-spoken Gen Xer from a little bit ago? She's in a marketing meeting that the senior vice president called. Right here, in this conference room, we're about to see another gap in the making.
And as I think this chart makes clear.
Oh, hey, Miss, I'll be done in 1 second, all right? Hey, what do you need?
I just want a ginger ale.
There you go.
Thank you.
On the house.
Thank you.
So the head guy gave you a pretty good going over in there, huh?
Oh, you heard that?
Listen, it's all about the times which these guys came of age, you know?
Well, I guess I should have known better than to be so blunt in front of other people. Some of those guys don't know me very well. And maybe he couldn't afford to let what even looks like insubordination pass in front of all those people.
To be honest, I got an uncle just like that. And being in front of people's only part of it. You know, he thinks being in charge makes you right. No question, no discussion. It's kind of like a mill thing. You know, where the lieutenant never asks the general about the orders at all.
Well, what does the lieutenant do if she really has questions?
I don't know. Maybe find someone else to ask.
Yeah, could be. Well, I have a meeting to go to. But it was nice chatting with you.
Same here. No question a traditionalist is going to value chain of command. But what if there's no one to be asked? Then sometimes putting things in writing feels more respectful. For example, I don't mean to question anyone's judgment. I have the following concerns I'm hoping can be put to rest. It's my responsibility as whatever to ensure that I understand whatever, and so on. If you can ask respectfully and frame them as a responsibility of your position, it won't seem as pushy. Our Gen Xer Glenda has been on the receiving end of generational miscommunication twice in one morning. But I think she's about to find out that she's in for being on the other end, too.
Hey.
Classic. Classic disconnect. Glenda and her fellow Generation Xers value competence above almost anything else. They're decisive and driven. Whereas the millennials, like Jenny, value creativity and flexibility. They can be impatient, and they love to multitask. There was also something very interesting in there. Glenda never said explicitly, I am in need of a conversation in the next 10 minutes. She never said, I'm disappointed and upset. Instead, Glenda said ASAP. She counted on Jenny to interpret her tone and her attitude. Glenda wanted Jenny to infer the urgency. She wanted her to know what she meant without saying it. The millennials are less likely to do that. They spend more time in cyberspace and less time face-to-face. And that means they don't necessarily go looking for all the small clues that older generations pick up in conversations. And right now, Glenda's thinking, how could I have been so blind? And she's probably thinking the differences would indicate her own poor decisions. But that's a risky way to think. Generational differences are not differences of opinion. They're not questions of individual taste. No one consciously chooses the values they grow up with. These differences are of experience, differences of perception. And it gets very tricky to simply say one is right and the other is wrong. There's an old story about 3 blind men who are led to an elephant. One touches the elephant's leg. Ooh, this animal is like a pillar of stone. Another touches its tail and says, no, it's like a snake or a rope. The third touches only the tip of the tusk and says, it's as hard and as sharp as a spear. None? They still don't know what an elephant looks like. And they all have very different ideas, and they're all quite certain of those ideas. And the thing to remember is, based on their experience, each of them is correct, but none of them are complete. You see, the differences aren't questions of right or wrong, they're just differences. And if you take the time to explain them, they don't have to be threatening. They can even broaden your vision. An interesting day. That's what you can have when 4 work side by side. 4 generations worth of strengths and insights. If all 4 generations are willing to listen to each other's points of view, your business is 4 times smarter, 4 times stronger, 4 times better. And that's just this. Innovation is the lifeblood of our company. It's what helps to set us apart. In fact, we say innovation is in our DNA.
To lab automation, centrifugation, genetic analysis, drug discovery, and nucleic acid testing systems.
We make better the things that make your lab better. Because at Beckman Coulter, we're better together.
Travel through space and time into a lost classic.
Look around. Right now, we're in the movie The Conversation. Here we are at an actual wiretappers convention. With the buzz of Watergate, an entire industry of audio surveillance was born, and trade shows, like this one, started popping up all over. Excuse me, guys. At these events, you didn't need CIA clearance to get your hands on the cutting edge in spy technology. All you needed was a name tag. Hi. As drama mounted on screen, Coppola was dealing with his own set of challenges. A big reason The Conversation kicks so much ass is the performances of its actors. a youthful Harrison Ford as the assertive corporate aide Martin Staton, and these two gentlemen behind me. Gene Hackman as Harry Call, and John Cazale as Stan.
Bud Light presents Blatant Marketing Ploys.
Turns out slow motion dancing in your commercial is an easy way to sell beer. I don't know why. Okay, I know why. Blatant marketing ploy? You bet.
Wheel of Misfortune.
Their parents have set them up on hijinks. Here's your host. Tell them what they're playing for today, Chris.
We have some wonderful prizes for you. And what are you looking for today for prizes?
The snowboard.
The snowboard. Let's see a snowboard you will have. Spin that wheel. What's it gonna be? Is it gonna be the money, guys?
Money.
What's it gonna be?
A folding chair.
A folding chair, guys. You want a folding chair.
What do millions of people from around the world have in common? How about the love for good food, or good cooking, and good friendships? Welcome to GoodCook.com, a culinary community of food lovers who are excited about sharing their passion for great taste with others. Here, our members exchange recipes, offer tips, write recommendations, and simply enjoy the cooking and dining experience in a fully interactive environment. The Martini. It's been called the definitive drink, the elixir of quietude, the only American invention as perfect as the sonnet. But here on Princess Cruises, the Martini has its own mystique, its own stature. In fact, it has its own bar, Crooner's Martini Bar.
Welcome, fight fans, to Hollywood Park Casino. And with me to call all the action this evening is my partner, Chris Shula. Chris.
Yeah, I'm really excited, Chris, tonight to offer some fight analysis. Karen Hartunian of Art of Boxing Promotions and Steve Bash from Bash Boxing have put together a wonderful card.